Inspiration comes from when I walk my dog in the morning. So a lot of this is my neighborhood. A lot of these golf courses type imagery actually are Glen Eagles golf course. Different times of the year, different times of the day. And then the rest of my work usually comes from my travels. I have a bank of imagery that I go to. I take big liberty with the subject matter. I don't, my photographs were a starting point, but they very quickly are put aside, and I don't refer to them after that just because I don't want to be limited to that. And again, raking light is something I'm always playing with, the relationship. It's an underpainting. It's really just a study in tonal values for what's going to go on top. I tend to paint in cooler greens. It goes well with the greens that I use. I know that this painting is going to be predominantly green. Someone, I forget who said it, but never let a landscape get in the way of a good composition. So I love that line because I do take a lot of liberties. And I still don't even know quite how this will all go together. And a lot of my paint is mixed on the canvas as I go. Like I put colors in and feel how each one works with each other. Edges are very important. They're becoming more and more important. Loose edges and brushwork, and this is the direction I'm kind of going in. Brushes are like, they're like a pen or a handwriting. People have writing instruments that they love, that they prefer. And when you've got a good pen that flows. And when I get a good brush, I know, and I can just tell by feeling. These are my latest ones. These they're just Legato by Opus, and they have a real knife edge to them, which I'm having fun with, and they're sort of shorter as opposed to this one, which is much kind of looser. Or softer. I always go to the art stores and I look around and I'm always like, okay, this looks like the perfect brush, and I bring it back and I try it for a while. So I end up with so many brushes. This was done outside. It was a very smoky, gray day. The tonal values there's not a huge range of tonal values there, but so yeah, it's something I've taken on. A lot of these I just work in the studio when I'm at home. Like I don't do them at my bigger studio in North Van. In the evenings and when I'm just wanting to muck around at home, I will paint the smaller ones. They're on Penhall, Baltic birch panel. And so sometimes they're workups for larger pieces. These are a really good exercise in just staying loose. The trick for me is trying to keep the looseness in the big ones, as well as it's easy in the small because you just push paint around and but when you have more real estate to cover on a bigger canvas, your brushes have to be bigger. Everything has to be sort of. It's hard to keep that spontaneity. If it's not too site specific, I'll actually flip the image if it works better from left to right. So that's a big thing for me, and I think that comes from printmaking. My background years ago from printmaking, where you had to draw backwards in order for it to turn out right, and sometimes you'd forget, and then the image you draw it and then you print it and you're like, oh, that's right, and oh well, actually it doesn't look bad in reverse. And I'm not ever averse to changing things completely.